Hello, Eugenetics. Welcome back to our book reading of my book. This is the fifth of a series of readings. Okay, in the book, this is chapter 4, entitled Interviews. One of my happiest moments was when the RCPI telegram arrived to tell me to report for the interviews. Initial interviews were the usual tell us about yourself and why do you want to work for Philippine Airlines. It was the final interview that stuck to my mind. The way lies stick to your hair. After looking intently at my resume, a beautiful manager stared at me very long, as if searching for a blackhead on my face. Then she nonchalantly blurted, "It says here in your resume you came from the seminary. Have you tried sex?" After blushing red, I smiled and said, "Madam, I would be glad to tell you on a one-on-one basis. Perhaps after this interview," I said. The group of executives chorused like vultures seeing a dead carcass. "We also want to know. Come on, come on." I politely said, "All I can say now is not yes or no," with all humility. But what I can say is I am a normal person physically and emotionally, and the seminary training supplied us with the capacity to live up to a life called single blessedness. Silence descended upon the room. Mr. Rene Barrientos exclaimed, "You are a member of the seminary choir from Cebu. Sing us Matudnila." I obliged to sing Matudnila and very loudly. That interview ended on a happy note. I can still recall there was this last interview after which you would be told if you qualify for training or not. You can call it the last judgment. The interview was done at the PAL In-Flight Center in Pasay. It was now the turn of the In-Flight Center executives. There were about 20 of us applicants. I was one of the first to be interviewed, but I was the very last to be called for the final result, as we were told of the results one at a time. It was almost 6 in the evening. When I was called for the final result, I looked around. Each office inside that huge PAL In-Flight Center building were turning off the lights, except the office of Mrs. Dina Guzman, the manager of the domestic operations of flight attendants. I felt a mixture of excitement and anxiety in front of this very beautiful lady manager. I felt like I was in front of Elizabeth Taylor, and she would deliver to me the final judgment. "Mr. Isidro, I have a concern about you entering Philippine Airlines." "Did I fail, ma'am?" Wait. You see, What you are doing right now is like you are going to jump from wide riverbank to the other. I am not sure you can do it because the riverbank is very wide. So, did I fail, Mrs. Guzman? I asked Mrs. Guzman. No, I did not say that. I did not say that. You see, life in the seminary and Philippine Airlines are two extreme lives. Can you imagine that Baclaran River there? You want to jump from one riverbank to the other riverbank. I blurted. So did I not make it, Mrs. Guzman? Life here in PAL is very colorful compared to your sheltered conservative seminary life. You might have a culture shock. Mrs. Guzman, I am not a kid anymore. I am a mature 25-year-old who knows what I want in my life. My adjustment to the airline life is guaranteed by my maturity, my education, family upbringing, peer group, self-discipline, faith and fear in God, values and exemplary work ethics. I think I can adjust easily. Mr. Isidro, do you think you can work and adjust to the airline life as a flight steward? No doubt about it, Mrs. Guzman. Then, we will tell you when to start training. Congratulations, Mr. Isidro. And the rest is history. A very colorful history. From then on, Philippine Airlines should be the refugium peccatorum of ex-seminarians who want to carve their own colorful history, flying instead of praying. From then on, my joke was, you go to heaven, you pray. I go to heaven, I fly. So, eugenetics, we will end here, and please wait for the next Wednesday for the 6th serial of our reading of my book about my flying life. So, thank you for listening, and goodbye. Eugenetics, I love you.